Hello everyone, I Jhalak Patel, Assistant Professor at LG Institute of Engineering and Technology in the Department of Electronics and Communication, welcomes you to the session of Power Electronics. Today I am going to discuss about power MOSFET, its operation and characteristic of power MOSFET, and then discuss about the uni-junction transistor and its characteristic. So let's start the session. First of all, power MOSFET. It is basically used to improve the current carrying capability. It operates at a very high frequency, approximately around 100 kHz it can be operated. Now the question is how it is superior than BJT, means how it is superior than bipolar junction transistor. So bipolar junction transistor is basically a current control device where the collector current depends on the base current, means IC is a function of IB. If the base current changes, then the collector current also changes. Even it also depends on the junction temperature. So it cannot be easily controlled, while the power MOSFET is voltage control device that can be controlled easily. Next is about its switching speed. So in the previous lectures we discussed about TRIAC, SCR, DIAC. So in all the cases we see that its switching speed, is around in a microsecond range, while in case of power MOSFET switching speed is very fast, means in nanosecond term, means it can easily turn on and turn off, or even the transition is very easy in case of power MOSFET. The next is the problem of sudden breakdown can be avoided with power MOSFET. It is one type of enhancement type of MOSFET. Next is about the structure of power MOSFET. Here you can see the layers of N plus, P plus, N minus and N plus are there. There are three terminals also: source, gate and drain. This whole structure is called the body of the power MOSFET. Here the basic difference between the common MOSFET and the power MOSFET is this N minus region. This N minus region is called as the drift layer of power MOSFET. So over here the role of drift layer is very important because it differentiates the MOSFET and power MOSFET. Because of this drift layer, it affects the dielectric of the power MOSFET that we will see later on. Here the structure is vertically oriented, and because of this vertically oriented structure, the total area is decreases. Because of the total area decreases, the resistance included in the structure also reduces, and this will totally reduce the on-state loss. Here there can be a N-channel MOSFET and P-channel MOSFET. This structure that's shown in this figure is for N-channel MOSFET. You can also draw the same for P-channel MOSFET. For this, the opposite terminal should be drawn over here for P-channel MOSFET. This is the basic structure. Here you can see that the terminal, source, gate, drain. Here you can see that there is a SiO2 layer in between the P terminal and gate, means P terminal body and gate is not in a directly contact. There should be some layer, drift layer present in between, means SiO2 layer should be there for N-channel MOSFET. This is N-channel MOSFET. You can also draw the P-channel MOSFET. For that you have to here P plus layer, and here P minus layer will be act as a drift layer for P-channel MOSFET. Next is here, as you see in the last figure, that their gate terminal is not in a directly connection with the semiconductor. Because of this no direction connection, there will be oxide layer, which is SiO2 layer, act as a dielectric, and this dielectric will affect the epsilon permittivity of the dielectric, means epsilon will be affected, and epsilon is directly in a proportional with the capacitance of the material. That's how the total SiO2 layer affect the junction capacitor. So here the role of this input capacitance depend on this layer of dielectric, means it depends on the layer of SiO2, means C is equal to A epsilon upon D. According to this equation, if the dielectric of material changes, then the capacitance also changes. This is the circuit symbol for N-channel MOSFET, and this is the circuit symbol for P-channel MOSFET. Please note the direction of this arrow. For N-channel MOSFET, it should be in the inward direction, and for P-channel MOSFET, it should be in the outward direction. Next is about the principle of operation of MOSFET. First of all, before discussing the principle of operation, here the equivalent circuit when the gate to source voltage 0 is shown. Here when gate to source voltage is 0, then the two diodes should be connected like this. Here you can see this will develop the N plus and P region, source and body region, when VGS is equal to 0. So this circuit can also be asked in a 1 mark, that draw the equivalent circuit of power MOSFET when VGS equal to 0. So it looks like this. This is the equivalent diagram for N-channel MOSFET. Here again you can see that between two N plus layer there will be this P layer, and it is not in a directly contact with the gate terminal. Over here there should be gate terminal. So this P layer is not in a directly contact with the gate terminal. There should be some drift layer present in between, and this drift layer is called as the SiO2 layer. Here again we already discussed about the difference between BJT and power MOSFET, that BJT is a current control device and power MOSFET is a voltage control device, because in case of BJT the current depends on the base current also. Collector current is a function of base current, and because of that it also depends on the junction temperature, while this case will not be considered in case of power MOSFET because it is a voltage control device. So this is the biggest advantage of this power MOSFET. Here conduction in ideal condition should be considered, that we discussed in detail in the next slide, that how the conduction will take place. And this second operation is of inversion layer creation. So let's start the discussion in detail. The operation of power MOSFET is basically divided into two stages. The first stage is the formation of depletion layer. Here, for formation of depletion layer, first the positive voltage is applied and the structure should be in a forward biased condition. So when the positive voltage is applied, and over here you can see that there is a layer of N plus P and N plus terminals with the source, body, drain and gate terminal. So over here when the positive voltage is applied to this P layer, and P layer has the majority carriers as holes and there is minority carriers electrons. Because of this positive voltage applied to this P layer, means at a drift layer, the electrons, because they are as a minority carrier, so they are out from this P terminal, and majority carriers holes remains as it is. Because of this, the electrons are going in this direction, upward direction, and get attracted to this gate terminal. Because of this attraction of electrons towards the gate terminal, here SiO2 layer, you can see that because of this attraction over here, this layer is created, and this layer is nothing but SiO2 layer, which is also called as a depletion layer. So that's why the first stage is called as a formation of depletion layer, because electrons are attracted towards the gate terminal. Now the second case, when positive voltage beyond such limit is applied. In the first case we applied the positive voltage, but it should be at some threshold level, up to some threshold level. Now if we applied the positive voltage beyond such limit, then how the operation will take place? is like this. In the figure you can see that if we applied more positive voltage, then the conductivity is affected. Now how the conductivity is affected? Because as we discussed in the previous point, that creation of depletion region, we see that the creation of depletion region is because of the minority carriers electron, because minority carriers electrons are attracted towards the gate terminal, and because of that the depletion region is created. At that time electrons are as a minority carrier and holes are as a majority carrier. Now when we applied this positive voltage beyond such limit, then what will happen is now the electrons are not as in a minority carriers in this layer, they are also in the same number as for the holes. So number of electrons and number of holes will be almost equal, means number of electron will increases when the positive voltage beyond such limit is applied, and because of that here n layer is created because of the more number of electrons. Now the formation of this n layer is called as creation of inversion layer, and the process of creation of inverse layer with some external applied voltage is called as field effect. Means commonly this n layer is created because of the more number of electrons. This layer is called as inversion layer, and in creation of this inversion layer with applied external voltage is called as the field effect. Here the n channel is created because we discussed about the n channel MOSFET. If you do the same thing with the p channel MOSFET or p type MOSFET, then over here the p type channel is created as an inversion layer, and because of that the resistance will decreases as we increase the applied voltage beyond some limit. Up to some limit the resistance will not be affected, but if we increase the voltage beyond some limit, then the resistance will decreases. So this is the operation of power MOSFET. Now let's see about the IV characteristic of MOSFET. First of all, for IV characteristic, the MOSFET is used as a switch. So as a switch there should be two states, either it is off or either it is on. So now let's see that when it is off or when it is on. For this IV characteristic, consider the graph of ID versus VDS, means drain current versus drain to source voltage. Here please note that the ID range is in a milliampere range and VDS should be in a volt. So DI characteristic is basically the graph of current ID drain current versus drain to source voltage. So now when this cutoff region is this region, this last region is a cutoff region. So means for cutoff region, breakdown due to drain to body junction will occur, and due to that the very small amount of drain current, means almost equal to ID is equal to 0, is flowing through this region. Means this region is also called as a turn off region, means at that time the power MOSFET as a switch work in a off state. Next is when large voltage is applied, then it operates in a ohmic region. This region is this is the ohmic region where the VDS is not generally affected in this region, but high amount of current can be passed through this region. This region is this ohmic region. Next is saturation region. So saturation region is like this. Here saturation region is like this. So over here at a fixed value of this drain to source voltage, at fixed value of this drain to source voltage, there should be some high amount of drain current is passing. Means over here the drain current is independent from the VDS, means drain currents function is not dependent on VDS, means graph should be like this for saturation region. Okay, so these are the IV characteristic of power MOSFET. It can be operated in a cut-off region or turn-off state, in a ohmic region or a turn-on state, saturation region, which is independent of drain current. Next is about the parallel operation of power MOSFET. So for parallel operation of power MOSFET, here the collector of the power transistors are connected together like this. Here you can see that for each MOSFET, the collector of each are connected together and applied from current IT, which is a total current. Here the base and emitter can be connected easily to the other devices if needed. Here, due to this all the precautions taken place for this parallel connection of power MOSFET, there is a possibility of the current imbalance in the circuit, means it is not completely balanced whether whenever we take any precautions or not. The current imbalance means some amount of current will be unbalanced either in a microampere or a milliampere. There should be some current leakage occur with power MOSFET. So this is one limitation of power MOSFET, that there can be a current imbalance. To reduce the current unbalance, we can use this circuit, but it cannot be completely balanced the power MOSFET. Next is about unijunction transistor. Unijunction transistor is mainly used to trigger the silicon control rectifier. It has the 3 terminals with lightly doped N material. Here 3 terminals are, one is gate and the other 2 are the base 1 and base 2, B1 and B2. Here you can see that this is a UJT internal block diagram with 3 terminal, here emitter, B1 and B2. This is a simplified internal circuit model of this, and this is the UJT circuit symbol. Here you can see that the emitter with 2 base terminal B1 and B2 are shown. Here, because of the only one junction, it is called as a unijunction transistor, and because of the two base connection B1 and B2, it is shaded as a duo base diode. So this is the UJT. You can we discuss about the characteristic of UJT in the next lecture. Thank you for watching.